Hi, my name is Chisinu Nguyen, and my video will be about the Heian period. I will be talking about the literature during this period, the relationships with China, and I will also be talking about the women and their culture during this time. The Heian period was approximately from 784 to 1185 and was also known as the Golden Age because this was a time when Japan was at a peak of achievements in literature. This period had the most classical and aristocratic elegance, mostly because of women. And aristocrats who lived in Kyoto considered poetry, music, and anything artistic to be the most important human accomplishment. People often courted each other through poetry in the form of waka or tanka. The affairs either failed or were successful depending on the sensitivity of the poem and the beauty of the writing. Some famous pieces during the Heian period are the Tale of Genji and the Pillow Book. These two pieces are from authors that experienced events during the Heian period, as the Pillow Book by the court lady Sei Shanagon seems to take us right into the core as she records her opinions about the small world around her and experiences during the events of her day. The Japanese during the Heian period was very influenced by China, as they had many things imported from there, such as Buddhism, Confucianism, poetry, and even methods of organization. They also made trades for silk, ceramics, armor, and weapons in exchange for their pearls, gold dust, and other goods. The Japanese students spent years in China studying their practices to bring their knowledge to Japan in hope to advance their development. Scholar monks brought back Buddhism, which is one of the most important factors of Japanese history. Confucianism and Taoism were also successfully influenced during this period, as the Eyes-Guarding Shrine remained one of the most worshipped buildings in Japan. Women in Japan were obsessed with their looks, as they always had to have their long hair that reached the ground, long layered clothing that were long and heavy such as uchiki, powdered faces, blackened teeth, also known as ohaguro, and painted eyebrows, also known as hikimayo. And upper-class women during the Heian period in Japan were well literate and educated, although their skills were limited to the types that would make them attractive to men, such as poetry and music. Court ladies and women developed the literature in Japan during this period, as they spent most of their lives indoors and only communicated by messengers or letters and refused to show their faces to men. Marriage began with a long exchange of poems between the man and the woman. Even though he probably has never even seen her, the man might come visit the woman at night and leave discreetly by dawn without the parents knowing he was ever there. After at least 3 visits, the couple was considered married. Marriage during the Heian period followed the idea of dual local residence, which meant the wife lived with her parents and the husband lived in a separate house, which would greatly influence the children. Marriage during this period were arranged and polygamous, which meant that the husbands were allowed to have several different wives, but the women were restricted to only one husband. The divorce system in Japan was signaled through a number of discontinued visits. There were no formal ways of officializing the divorce, as men would completely stop visiting the women. The Heian period consists of a huge number of accomplishments in literature and arts, a large influence from the Chinese such as trading, Buddhism, and Taoism, and a very different lifestyle for women compared to today's society. I really enjoyed learning about the Heian period because women during that time had a huge impact on literature, and I feel like women today are now just underestimated by men. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.